Hello Sim Racing World, another quick video here on Project Cars 2. This is still a work in progress, due out on September 22. What we'll have a quick look at here is the tuning menu. So when you have a look at a car and how it's set up, it's quite different compared to Project Cars 1. A big improvement in my opinion. Everyone will probably have their own opinion about it. So let's just quickly jump in and have a look at what the tuning menu is like. So we've just got a tractor set up here just so I can jump in and have a quick look. Waiting for the load bar to finish off. Alright, so we have a quick look over here on the tuning setup. I'll go into this a little bit more in detail later on. There's also a race engineer, which is another exciting development with Project Cars 2. Let's have a look at just editing a setup at the moment. So here we have the basics of setting up your car. So in the tyres, brakes and chassis tab, we have here your left and right and rear left and rear right different settings here. So you can have a look at your tyre pressures, tyre temperatures. You can set your compound per tyre or automatic and change your tyre pressures here. There's also the braking in the centre here where you can adjust your brake pressure and the brake balance forward rear. So that's actually like that there. It's a lot more explained as which way is the car. So normally you go obviously front left and rear right is how I would actually look at it. And the chassis down the bottom here, you can change the bias of the car weight and also a weight jacket, obviously depending on the car. Set your car back to default tunes over on the right hand side here by hovering over different things. As you can see, the menus have been changing. It gives a lot more better explanation of what bits and pieces are. You can set the car up symmetrically or not symmetrically. So if you select as symmetrical as you would change things, you can see that it's changing both sides at the same time. Suspension, so you have your left and right, front and rear suspensions here, where you have a look at the caster, camber, ride height and spring height. Different cars obviously have different options for changes. Some you can change, some you can't, depending on the car. So just in the rear here is ride height and spring height, and the front you can change the camber and the caster as well on the car that we've got here. And set up your steering ratio, your toe-in angle, the anti-roll bar and the rear anti-roll bar. Have a look through your dampers, front and rear, left and right, and all these here. Much better system, I think. Actually points out each settings are to each end of the car, whereas before it was left, right, all the way from top to bottom. So I think it's a much more logical setup here. Some vehicles also have third dampers front and rear, like the Formula cars, for example. And then there's the ECU engine and gearing. So you can set your fuel load, your air restrictor, radiator opening, any engine braking, and your final ratios and gears, first and second gear. I think I'm in the Agajanian Watson Roadster, which only has 2 gears. As I said, and different cars will have different options. Got to go right down the bottom here for other bits and pieces. So traction control and ABS strength. I'm using the mouse here. Sometimes a little bit hard to get it to roll over it properly. It's not a bug in game. It's just my mouse is playing up a little bit. And then over here we have the differential, where you can adjust how a diff is actually set up. There we go, rolling down here. So you have your limited slip diff, bias ratios, those sort of things here. And the menus are over on the right here, which give you a bit more explanation of what's going on for different settings. All right, anyway, so you set the car back to defaults and away you go. or cancel. You could also, if we actually quit here, we have the save menu, so then you pick the track that obviously we're at is the Monza Oval Historic, and you can create your setups, name your setup here, and you can actually have a list of setups here, so you're not just stuck with the one setup per track. You can set up several setups, so you might have a wet setup or a dry setup or an intermediate setup, or maybe a hot or cold or night to set up for different pressures and different environments. Anyway, that's just a quick run through there of Project Cars 2 and the setup menu, setting up the tuning of your car. Anyway, Steel Jockey signing off.